If you've always liked the idea of reading books, but every time you actually try to sit down, pick up a book, and read it, your mind kind of wanders and literally anything else seems more interesting to you, then you need this in your life. This is the Kindle Paperwhite, a lightweight 6.8-inch e-reader that carries more books than you'll ever need. It's got a battery that can last for weeks and a display that looks great no matter when or where you're reading it. You can easily add books through your Amazon account or email them straight to your device. And now that Kindle supports ePUBs, once you get this, you might never want to put it down. Now obviously buying a Kindle won't change your reading habits overnight, but for this we've had the Paperwhite for a few weeks now, and my first impressions are it's super speedy, it's really convenient to purchase books, and I really wish that Audible syncing worked in Canada. I'll cover this review in the same format as the other ones, just covering the hardware, the software, and then bonus tips at the end of this video. This is the 11th generation Kindle Paperwhite, and don't mistake that for the regular Kindle. There's a lot more features in the Paperwhite version than the regular Kindle. So there's actually two versions of this device. There's the standard edition and the signature edition. The signature edition is actually a lot more money, and all you're really getting is more storage, auto adjust brightness, and the ability to wirelessly charge your device. Those weren't super important to us, so if you're like me, I'd recommend sticking with the standard edition. The Paperwhite is only 205 grams, it's super lightweight and really easy to carry around. So the standard version is 8 gigabytes, and that can carry about 1,000 books, which is a lot more than we would ever really need. And the battery life is amazing. I think we've had it for a few months, and I've only had to charge it once. The build quality is super nice. It's got a nice matte finish to the screen, so there's not really any glare at all. It's a 6.7 e-ink display. It's backlit with 17 LEDs so that you can have a wide range of brightness. But the main reason that I like the Paperwhite over the regular Kindle is that you can adjust the warmth of the light. This is super key for your sleep and your eye health, and especially if you're trying to create a new nighttime routine reading rather than being on your phone. Moving on to the bottom, you got the USB-C charging port. It takes about 3 hours to go for a full charge, and beside that is the power button. I honestly find this in kind of an odd location and tend to hit it a lot. So the solution I have for that is getting a case that opens and closes like a book. I definitely recommend getting one of these because it's really easy for you to get lost into a book. And that's honestly what Amazon does so well with the Kindle. The entire experience for the Kindle is so seamless. Right when you purchase the Kindle, you can actually sync it with your Amazon account, which makes setting it up a breeze. If you have previous Amazon devices, it automatically links you up with your Wi-Fi, Bluetooth, and everything else that you would ever need to connect to the Kindle. And since it's connected to your Amazon account, purchasing books and all that stuff is super easy, and you'll never have to connect this to a computer if you didn't want to. Something that I was blown away by is that all of your comments were talking about how fast the Kindle was, and I could have never prepared for that experience. Reading on this device is so zippy. Like, you got bookmarks in the top right corner, just touch a word to get the definition, dragging a section to create a highlight, and then tapping that again to add notes for that section. Kindle integrates the notes super well and also shows you what the most popular highlight sections are. They also make exporting your highlights and notes super easy. It sends it to the email of your Amazon account, and it comes out as a PDF or a doc. Also, after finishing your books, they give you recommendations of other books that you might like that are similar, and your review also syncs with Goodreads, which I find super helpful when you're trying to look for books that you might be interested in. But nothing's perfect, and that's where I have a few caveats about the software. I'm sure I'll get used to it the more I read with this device. I just wish it was more customizable. I find myself always switching to the next page even though I'm just trying to adjust the settings. I'll draw a diagram of what the touch interface kind of looks like, but the settings section is really just at the top, and you have to be pretty precise to make sure that you're accessing the settings correctly. Another thing is that the fonts and layout section is separate to the brightness area. In order to access brightness, you have to swipe down like on like an Android device, and then you can adjust the brightness, the warmth, and the dark mode. But they did do the fonts and layout sections really well. You can create themes so that the settings that you have are saved. Whether you want large text or you want small text, you can save those on themes to switch between books. Other than that, like, the reading experience has been incredible. But the other issue that I have with this device is the homepage, because it doesn't really make sense to me. You would kind of just expect that you'd have your library up front, but they kind of put it on one shelf, and the rest are dedicated to their subscription models, which is Kindle Unlimited or Prime Reading. I'm not quite sure what the difference is, but they are there available. I also find it really difficult to figure out where the store is. I found that the easiest is by clicking the cart icon, and that takes you to the store that we're more used to. That way you can browse by categories, search the titles and whatnot. And then from that experience, it's a lot easier because then you can just add the books to your cart and check out through your Amazon account. And then once you have your books purchased, or if you've already purchased your books, it's a lot easier because there is a library tab at the bottom right here, and it just shows you all of the books that you own. And once you get there, then the reading experience is completely fine, and then you're good to go. And just some bonus notes on Kindle is they just recently support ePUBs, which I find super amazing, so you can easily import books that you've already had and read them on the Kindle without having to go through alternative software. Another great feature that I love is that there's a Send-to-Kindle via email feature, which is super convenient, especially if you have books on on your computer and you don't want to go through the hassle of connecting a cable to the Kindle, you can just email it to yourself, and once the Kindle connects to Wi-Fi, it'll sync onto your device. And lastly is Whispersync. It basically syncs up all of the books that you're reading on your Kindle devices. So if you're reading on your iPhone, on your computer, it'll sync to your Kindle to the farthest page that you've read. This is also supposed to work with Audible, but I wasn't able to test that out because Audible syncing doesn't work in Canada, which is super unfortunate because I love listening to my books on Audible as well. So if you live in an area where Audible syncing does work, let me know how that is because I'm so curious to know. Being the 11th generation of the Kindle Paperwhite, Amazon has really perfected this device. It's super seamless to use from purchasing the device down to purchasing your books. You don't really have to think and you can get reading as quick as possible. With Prime Day right around the corner and the Kindle already being at such a great price, I couldn't recommend this enough. But let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. Thanks so much for watching this video and I'll catch you guys in the next one.